Hello, in this video we're talking about just the very basics of branding, because before we can get into actually building out your site, there is some content that we need to have ready. So I just want to go over that kind of quickly to help anyone who isn't quite ready. We do need to have some sort of brand established. This doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be, super sure about this. You don't need to spend money on a professional designer. But if you don't have any sort of brand established already, there are just a few decisions you're going to need to make before we can really dive in and start actively designing our website. So that's why I'm giving a little bit of branding information just to make sure that we're all really ready to start building out the website. So I would say that if you're going to build any sort of website, even a simple one-page website, you do need a few basics. This includes colors. You need to know which colors you would like to use on the website. Fonts. You can use, the ones that are in the free templates, but also if you're already using fonts on social media or somewhere else on the web, just, go research them, figure out what they are, and it is good to just have an idea of which fonts you want to use consistently throughout your brand, and that would be also true on your website. You're going to need images. Regardless of what you do or who you are or what your business is, you're going to need some sort of images for your website because obviously websites are inherently visual. So we talk a little bit in this course about where to find those just to make sure that you have everything you need ready. And then you'll need a tiny bit of copy. These are not super complicated websites, so you don't need a lot, but obviously you're going to need to know what your header is, what kind of sections you want to include in your website. It's a good idea if you can map that out before you start the visual design process. As much as I believe in the power of visual design, I do think that when it comes to websites, you do want to keep functionality top of mind. What do you want your visitors to the site to be doing? What do you want them to be thinking? What kind of message do you want to get across? So that's all going to happen in the copy. And, if you're not familiar, copy is just kind of the fancy word for the words or the text that are on the page. So before you can really dive into the actual building out, we need to have colors, fonts, images, and copy ready. There are templates in Canva, and we're definitely going to go over those, but I encourage you to customize them at least a little bit because those templates are free to lots and lots of people, and you don't want your final website to look exactly the same as someone else's. And especially when it comes to images and copy, the images and copy need to reflect you and your exact business, not something super generic. So you are going to need to do some level of customization. If you're totally new to business or have no established brand, I did include just a few videos on kind of the very basics of getting your colors and fonts figured out, and a little bit of info too on where to find images. So hopefully that helps you get a running start. And once you get that kind of stuff pulled together, you'll be ready to really dive in to the actual designing of the web page.